Hello everyone, welcome back to Raw Music Meets. My name is Joe Spagnoli, the Deputy Head of Music at Raw 12:51 AM, and today I'm joined by George Cowell, aka George Lammb. Hey George, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you, mate. How are you?
I'm good. Well, about as good as we can be in the current lockdown conditions, which of course is the reason why we're doing calls like this as opposed to live. George Lammb, 21-year-old singer-songwriter, originally from Sleaford, but currently based at Nottingham Trent University, studying journalism, coming up in the Nottingham music scene at the moment. Just for those of you who aren't aware of who you are, George, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name is George. Obviously, I changed my name to George Lamb, which is a bit of an inside joke between me and my mates. I won't go into the story right now. But yeah, I'm 21 years old. I've been making music since I was about 15, but only really decided to start pursuing it in the past year, which means I've got this back catalogue of songs I've been writing since I was about 15 years old. Yeah, I absolutely love it. Yeah, it's been really eye-opening to get involved in the music scene, especially here in Nottingham.
The gap of about 6 years makes an awful lot of sense, and we'll get into that just later on. We were told earlier this year in your presser that you were recording new material, but then, of course, the COVID-19 pandemic struck, and that effectively got wiped out, along with, let's face it, basically everything else. So in this
Yeah.
gap, what have you been up to in terms of music? Have you switched more towards songwriting, or is it still trying to record as much as you can?
Yeah, basically, I hear music all the time that inspires me to write songs. I try really hard not to like nick ideas, but I hear a song and I go, well, that sounds quite good. So as soon as I hear an idea in my head that blossoms in something, I get my guitar, get voice notes on the laptop, and just start sampling ideas. I record every single idea I have, basically. Over this period, I've just literally been writing music constantly. I've had literally nothing else to do, and obviously. There's actually been more inspiration than you think in doing nothing. I know that you've given me a lot of time to think about a lot of things that are conducive to writing good music, to be fair.
You've been busy with songwriting at the moment. The plan, at least as far as we know, is to have some singles put out and potentially even an EP in or
Mm.
before 2021. Of course, this is pending current conditions. Is that still the plan at the moment, or has that
Yeah,
changed?
absolutely. Yeah, the thing is, I've got all the songs ready to go. It's just about finding the right people who understand what I want to do with the songs. There's no point getting. So I need to get. Well, hopefully the studio is open again, and then I need to find the people to do the instrumentation and go through how I want all the songs to sound with my mate Luke, who helps me produce all my music. There's a lot to it, and to get it all. And people don't realize, well, a lot of people do, but some people don't realize how much effort goes into getting even an EP out, and how like for artists, I wouldn't release anything at all unless it sounds exactly how I want it to sound, and that's quite the difficulty, especially in lockdown.
That's something that I was going to ask you actually, in terms of the creative process, especially in production. I was wondering, did you do all the production by yourself, or do you have, a group that do it for you? But it sounds like like a community feel within Nottingham Trent University. Am I right in saying, in terms of how the
Well,
music's put together?
actually, a lot of the music that I do with people from other universities.
Oh,
I
fair.
do. There's not a lot of people actually I've found not in Trent that do music, especially in the way that I do it. I've actually found that it's more leaning towards areas like Leeds and Sheffield, where there's people who are trying to create the same type of music as me. There's a different type of music in Nottingham that's very prevalent. So I have to go out of field to write the music. It's definitely a community feel, because although I play a few instruments, I don't play them to the standard that I want my music to sound like. So I sort of write the music and then let other people sort of design the music around what I've done as a basis.
Obviously, it's early days at the moment. We haven't got like an EP or a full album, obviously, to talk about. But your current output, you've got 2 demos out on all the major streaming platforms. And I emphasize
Yeah.
demo. Demo is literally in the title. We need to emphasize that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Breeze was the first one, came out a couple months ago. And the brand new track Settle, also a demo, of course. They're both pretty short tracks, led by guitar. They're kind of different in how they come together, though. Breeze is, I dare say, a track led more by the guitar and the vocal hooks, kind of more like an indie pop track, whereas Settle seems, especially lyrically, a bit more freeform. They're very
Mm.
different tracks for someone so early in their career. How
Mm.
different was the process creating these 2 tracks? Because they've both been released pretty close to each other, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, they were both recorded at the same time. I'm hesitant to say that literally none of my music sounds the same. Every
Mm.
single song has an individual kick to it. It's because, as I said, when I first start writing a song, I can hear how it's going to sound in my head from the very beginning, and no 2 songs sounds the same. They have like similar themes to them, but they're not. They never. They've all got their own individuality. I wrote Settle and Breeze a year apart, recorded them on the same day, and I went through how I wanted the sort of rhythm guitar to go through that song. They both had a different approach to that sort of thing, but they're both written at different times and in different ways, really.
I was wondering what your process was in terms of just writing and indeed creating the songs. What's the way you go about creating a song in terms of lyrics and instrumentation? Which one of them, for example, comes first when you're creating a track?
It sounds a bit silly, but basically, if I write the melody first on the guitar, I write something which I would listen to just instrumentationally, like straight up, and then what I do is I go back to it later and I just hum along to the song with random words. And then what I do is it's actually quite a long process when I think about it. I hum the melody of how I want the song to sound, and then I put that to one side, and then I write lyrics to just write how I'm feeling or something that I want to talk about. And then what I do is I just combine the two, and it always works out quite well because it means that I can get the theme of the song working well with how how the song sounds itself. I mean, they're all very meaningful to me. So every song I write is it's got, I could tell you what every line means, what every word means. So
moving on from this, obviously we talked about inspiration. I was thinking of your personal inspiration as a singer-songwriter. In the last 10 months or so, we've seen, dare I say, sort of a new generation of specifically British singer-songwriters coming through. Are you taking anything in particular from this new generation of singer-songwriters, not necessarily in terms of how you write the songs, but how you promote them, how you approach them? Yeah. Are they in particular inspiring you?
Sam Fender is a huge inspiration. I think that what he's doing in the music scene right now is just absolutely unbelievable. He's writing songs that are poignant and effective in lots of different ways. You know, something like this one about white privilege, which is more poignant now than ever. It's almost as if he went forward in time and realized what was going to happen in the day to day. He is absolutely fantastic. I think more than anything with British artists is that they're always organically growing. They always seem to start from the bottom and make their way up in the English music scene. Sam Fender's been around since 2017. I heard his name first mentioned in 2017. Didn't really pay attention to it then, but then obviously he's just grown and grown and grown. And I think that's what makes British artists so fantastic, is they're happy to play the waiting game, because it's not about fame in this country. Well, as far as I'm aware, it's all about making really, really good music. And I think Sam Fender embodies that really, really well.
Moving on from that, your presser made some comparisons for you, not necessarily in terms of the music you do, but in terms of who it could appeal to. So they said you would appeal to fans of Bob Dylan and Rex Orange County alike. Fair to say we can see a bit of both in the songs that you put out so far. But who are your personal artist inspirations, the main ones when it comes to making music?
To be fair, I listen to some music all day, every day. I think I wake up in the morning, I put headphones in. From the moment I wake up to the moment I go to sleep, if I go for a walk somewhere, I'm always listening to new music. But personal inspirations of recent, some of the stuff when I was younger would probably be a bit shocking, but some of the new stuff would probably be Mac DeMarco is a big inspiration for me as far as the instrumentation wise. I think what he does with the guitar is just absolutely fantastic. If he gets that level, that would be really great. But I use, exactly as he says in the presses, that Rex Orange County for me lyrically is sort of unapologetically himself, and I really respond to that. Sometimes he'll use a lyric which I think is, when I first hear it, I think that's stupid because it doesn't rhyme, but then in the context of the song, it's absolutely perfect. So I use different artists as inspirations in different ways, but Mac DeMarco and Rex Orange County, if I could make like a baby between the two of those with the sound I'm trying to create, then that would be absolutely perfect for me.
Moving on from this, we've talked about music for a little while. Obviously, we're in pandemic conditions. We're asking everybody about how they're coping, of course. We've got some quick fire questions for you. The number one track or album that you've been enjoying in lockdown so far?
See, that's obviously going to be a bit annoying, but it'll probably be the Sam Fender album. And a track that I've been really looking at, I really like at the moment, is by a band called Peach Pit, and it's called Tommy's Party. And again, it goes back to what I was saying about what you were saying actually about free-form lyrics, and it doesn't follow the standard verse, chorus, bridge, chorus sort of structure. It's just verse, but it's one of the most beautiful, haunting songs about teenagers and about the teenage experience that I've ever heard. And I think it's just absolutely brilliant. So if anyone's listening to this and wants to listen to a really good song, that'll probably be it.
The book you've most enjoyed throughout lockdown?
I put Normal People yesterday morning. My mate lent it to me at about 10 in the morning. And I'm not the fastest reader in the world, and it's only a short book, but I've finished it in about 5 hours, just on and off eating with it. It's, honest to God, one of the most amazing books I think I've ever read. It's a real page turner.
Your TV or movie obsession? That could be a box set that you've been going through, or just something that you keep going back to.
No, that's good because I really struggle to sit down and watch movies and TV shows. I really do. I really, especially TV shows, I really struggle to sit down and watch. It's been hard because I'm more of a cinema goer. Actually, I really enjoy it. When I do want to sit down in front of a film, I want to go and sit down in a movie theater and watch it there. So it's really hard for me to say. Let me just have a quick look at Netflix. So I'm reminded what I've watched. The Disaster Artist. It's this film about the parody of The Room.
Tommy Wiseau, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was excellent.
Your go-to lockdown meal.
Oh right, so I make mac and cheese religiously, and I make it and it's this thing at uni. I've got a house of 16 here in Nottingham, and I made it for everyone here when we were all here, obviously. So whenever I'm feeling, particularly low, or if I've had like a bad day, I just make a really disgusting mess of mac and cheese and just devour the whole bowl, really.
And the last one for this bit, I've phrased it: bad habit in quarantine (brackets doesn't need to be your own). Something that's annoyed you or something that you've developed that you're not proud of.
Something that I've developed personally is I've been very lethargic all day, and I've been sort of allowed my melancholy sort of to like completely take over my body. Like I literally walk around the house and then suddenly 6 hours has passed and I think, what have I actually achieved for the whole day? I think I've just gone into sort of autopilot, which is not me at all. I'm very structural. I like to have things to do with my day, and the fact that lockdown has prevented me from doing that has just meant that I've gone into like a hibernation, which I hate, to be fair.
The edict that was passed down by our head of music, Sophie Wood, and we're doing this with basically everyone so that we can keep a leaderboard at the end. So hopefully you can come to the top of this. It's a game that she created called Slang It. It's pretty simple. I'll read out a piece of regional slang for you, and you have to tell me what it means. I've tried to go easy on you because this is, at least according to the Nottingham Post, this is Nottingham slang.
Oh right. This is really not good.
Hopefully you've picked up some at Trent. Maybe university, like for us at Warwick, it's a bit of a bubble. But we'll see how many of them you can get. Question number one. Right. Okay, cob.
Oh, that's a bun. It's like a bacon butty sort of thing. You eat it. You put bacon in.
Straight away, impressive. Yeah. Okay,
I get them all.
Number two. I mean, I'm worried because you got that straight away. Number two, nesh.
Oh, does that mean to eat something, or is that like a pint? Or
I can give you. Well, it's more of an adjective than a noun. I'll give you a sentence. So it's just really nesh today.
Does that mean it's rainy?
I can't give you that. It means cold, but I guess it's sort of along the same lines. Yeah. You might get this one because I don't think this is exclusively Nottingham. Number three, tabs.
Oh no, I'm thinking of a different tab. Tabs, keeping tabs on someone.
It's a noun if that helps you.
Oh, that doesn't. No. Hold on. I'm just thinking about the university university.
Yeah, I did as well. It came to mind.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I have no clue.
I've final clue. It's to do with the body.
Tabs. Is it feet or hands?
It could be worse. Ears, apparently.
Oh, what? That's right. That makes that. I've absolutely never heard that before in my life. Is that supposed to be Nottingham slang?
Apparently that is City of Nottingham slang.
Terrible.
Number four. I feel like this is a bit more specific. Twitchell. Meet me in the Twitchell, 6 p.m.
Oh, is it a pub?
To be fair, you're not far off. It's not so much. It's not a building, but it's an area similar to a building. Like it's that kind of field. You're right.
Is it a? Oh my god! Is it a pub garden? Is it a park? Is it? I can't just keep guessing, can I? I can't just keep throwing them out.
I'll let you have a couple more.
Oh,
I mean, to be honest, I think
social area.
Very much a city thing.
Oh right.
Or town.
I think my last answer would definitely be: is it like a car park or something?
It's not a car park. It's actually an alleyway. Number five. This is animal related. I'll give you that clue. Bobbo.
Oh gosh.
A bobbo.
Is it a cat?
It's not a cat. No. It's a little bit less basic. But
oh god, is it a pigeon?
It's not a pigeon. No. Do you want one more guess?
Yeah, I'll try. Bobbo.
It's something that people own.
Oh, is it? Oh,
yeah,
but it's not common, so it can't be what I think it might be.
It's not like as common as a cat.
Okay. Oh, I see. Is it a dog? Please tell me it's a dog.
It's not a dog, unfortunately. I mean, people may call it Bobo. It's actually
Yeah.
a horse, apparently.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I should have said. I was thinking horse. To be fair,
Yeah.
a Bobo. Yeah.
So you got Cobb straight away. I'm actually, you know what? On retrospect, if Sophie disagrees, I don't care. I'm going to give you Nesh because cold and raining, more or less
Yeah.
interchangeable.
Okay.
2 out
But
of
still
5.
two.
Honestly,
Two.
honestly, that is, as far as I'm aware, better than most artists have done.
I.
Moving a little bit back towards you and your life story in terms of music is that what we need to remember is that as a 21-year-old, you are literally a student. It's really tough in terms of time management, and you need to balance that. The full-time journalism degree, which I believe you're in your third year for.
Yeah, I'm going into third.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going into third year, so tough at this stage, and a love of rugby as well, which we can get into in a moment. Just how do you find balancing the time between all of these different things?
Yeah, in second year, it was really tough because, well, it's actually in first year as well, it was really, really hard because not only balancing it with time wise, but finding yourself in a social environment was really, really hard as well because it's really hard to play rugby and do music at the same time, just socially. Like the two things don't match. You know, with the rugby culture, it takes up your full time, it takes up your full attention. Not necessarily with doing anything specific or anything particularly interesting, but you've got to be drinking all the time, playing all the time, gymming all the time. Time management with music is that it's something that I do instinctively. So writing music isn't necessarily something that I set time aside for. It's just something that I do all the time. Like I wake up in the morning and I'll pick up a guitar and I'll just write lyrics down and stuff like that. It's just something that I do for fun and something that I do religiously. But I never really think time management for me, especially, it always comes down to my degree. It's always like, how many hours a day can I commit to this degree? The music sort of comes secondary to that, and also when uni's over, it will just go full speed ahead with music, to be fair. But for the time being, I've got to prioritise getting a good degree.
But after that year, of course, we can expect the first EP, singles coming out, all that kind of stuff.
It's going to be completely different. It's just going to be a completely different kettle of fish because I'll just have so much time to commit to it. So much time, especially, you know, to learn to like broaden my horizons as far as the instruments I already know. Maybe learn more instruments, and also the thing. Also, uni is an expensive thing. My loan is substantially less than my rent, so I have to work to pay for that sort of thing. But then also, all my money goes towards that. So when that's all over, I could buy new instruments that I want to, buy. And so uni is inhibiting me in a way. But at the end of the day, when it's all over, it'll be over in a year, and then I'll be able to do some things that I actually want to do.
And full speed ahead on the music. Just a couple questions, actually sport-based questions, because I saw a couple of things. The first one is, of course, that I thought you were just a fan of rugby. Turns out you actually play it, which I didn't realise.
Yeah. Not very well, but...
Okay, I was going to ask you, are you on a Bucks team or something for Nottingham Trent? But I'm guessing that's something that you're really missing at the moment in quarantine.
Yeah, I played rugby league in first year, and I played the Bucks Midland final. They couldn't get enough players, so I thought they were going to ask me to be a sub or something, but they actually played me for the full game, which was quite nice. This guy called me at 3:00 the night before and just said, "We need a player. We need like a wing or something. Can you just come play this final? It's just a chance to win silverware." And I didn't think that we had a hope in hell to win, but we won, and I've got a lovely Bucks medal. But I play rugby league, but obviously not to an amazing standard. My brothers are fantastic players. They really are quite something.
Obviously, Nottingham-based, you may not support either of these two, but as a football fan, I have to ask between the two, especially considering the stadiums are so close to each other: Nottingham Forest or Notts County.
Oh, and Nottingham Forest completely.
Oh, thank God you selected that. I was going to say there is a right answer. And the last question, this was one that I stumbled across, and maybe this is something that you haven't realized, because I see people wearing this kind of stuff all the time and not realizing what it is. A lot of the promotional photos I've seen with you're wearing a Washington Nationals t-shirt.
Yeah.
Are you a baseball fan as well?
I used to live in the States when I was younger. So I used to live in Texas, and I basically took a year out before I came to university because I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And I travelled the States for quite some time, about 2.5 months, and ended up just happening to stay with one of my family members. who lived in Washington and took me to a Washington Nationals game. So I am a baseball fan, but I'm definitely a Washington Nationals fan. I actually love them to bits. I think they're fantastic.
On personal life as well, we're talking about like the gap you spent over in the USA, and you said earlier that you'd only started music seriously in the last, let's say, year or so. I did check out the Facebook page, the George Lammb Facebook page, that is, and there was a 6-year gap in between posts, 2013 to 2019.
Okay, yeah, for sure. There was, I mean, there is an explanation for that. Basically, while I was at school, I did want to do music, but rugby just completely overtook any desire to make music at all. Rugby was just something that I really, really loved doing. It kept me fit. I lost a lot of weight doing it. My ex-girlfriend likes that I played it, so it all worked. It all worked in my favor. So yeah, there was a substantial 6-year gap between when I posted when I was younger. But I've always kept it open just so when I could come back to it when I was ready. And obviously I've just done it this past year, so I'm quite happy with that.
For the press information that we got from you, you're on the Augusta, not necessarily label, but agency and like marketing at the moment. What's changed for them? I know that you said earlier, I was going to ask if you changed the production. That's remained relatively the same as far as I can tell. But what's changed since joining up with them and getting that little bit extra promotion?
Well, actually, I obviously this friend called Luke. He's an absolute legend. He gets me up in lead a lot of the time to get demos recorded and just get ideas flowing. And he's been really committed to just believing in the music that I make. To be fair, so he's the guy I go through, not really necessarily the company, and he just works for that company. What he's done and what he continues to do is just all the stuff that I wouldn't necessarily even think about, like interviews, promotion, and all that sort of all the things that I would sort of are a little bit secondary to me, other than making music. He thinks about and pushes all my stuff out there, and so he's the focal point. And what he also does really well is he articulates things about my life that I wasn't even thinking about. So in that presser, he writes things about me which I wasn't even aware that he knew, and I wasn't even aware that I even thought about. So like he somehow knew that all the bands that I liked and the bands that inspired me. I must have said them to him at some point, but yeah, he's really, really great, that guy. Honestly, he's really helped me out.
Of course, it's early days at the moment. George Lamb's career, we've only got 2 demos so far, but we know more stuff's on the way. Just to tease to the viewers of this and any fans that have tuned in to watch this on YouTube, what have we got to look forward to in the next, let's say, 12 to 18 months? Obviously, there's the debut EP, potentially more singles. Is there anything else in the pipeline that you're really excited about?
Yeah, I've literally got about, I think there's about 9 songs on top of the already have 2 I've got out at the moment that I've written down. There's the lyrics for them. There's instrumentation for them. They're there to be recorded with people. So as soon as I get in a studio, they're just going to be written basically. They're just going to be made. When I release music, I'm not going to do a standard album mold because I think that doesn't really work for me. I'm going to do, when I release the EP that I'm going to release, it's going to be called 18 to 21. So whenever I release an album for the rest of my life, it's going to be age bracket wise. It's going to follow through. And so from 18 to 21, 21 to 23. And so however long the album takes me to do, or however long the EP takes me to do, it's going to be age bracket wise. So it can be like a chronological sort of order, which sounds a bit silly, but that's how I'm thinking about doing it for the time being.
You're on a lot of socials at the moment. You can stream both Breeze and Settle on SoundCloud, Spotify, etc. Just could you just plug your other socials so that people know where to find you? So Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, that kind of thing.
All my stuff is basically under the same label. It's at George Lammb, and so my Spotify's George Lammb, Instagram is George Lammb, Twitter is at George_Lammb. Everything is just, that's the way it's written. So, but actually, I'll just make sure I get this point out there. It's Lammb with 2 M's.
It's in the title, guaranteed.
It's in the title. So yeah, so it's Lammb with 2 M's. So that's the most important bit. As long as you remember that, it should be all Gucci.
You'll be able to find it all across the board, right? George Lammb, thank you very, very much for speaking to me.
No, thank you. Honestly, it's been great.
Across campus, online, and on 12:51 AM. This is your student radio station.